Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're down at work and I just thought I would show you this crawler tractor. This is an HSCS crawler. HSCS stands for Hoflterr Schraniz Clayton Shutelworth. Now these were four companies that got together after the First World War to kickstart some industry in Hungary. So this is a Hungarian made tractor. I don't know much about Hoflterr Schraniz and I'm sure my pronunciation is way off. Clayton Shutelworth were an English company that was best known for making steam engines. I believe this particular tractor is from the 1950s, so much later than it actually looks, and I believe that it had a bulldozer blade mounted on it at one stage. You can see the stubs down here for mounting the blade on next to the tracks, and I believe that it was cable operated by hand from this bracket up here with a hand operated winch back here. And it was used for clearing the land down here in the Swan Valley. I believe it didn't have a lot of use because these weren't particularly good as crawler tractors. This company also made rubber tired and steel wheeled tractors, and I believe they were better than these crawlers. This is a single cylinder crude oil engine that it has in it with a hot bulb start. So to start it, we need to start by putting a blow lamp under here and warming up this piece of cast iron in here. It's a low pressure injection on it. Here is the injector up here, and it fires straight down onto the hot bulb which is in here. So once we have warmed it up, there's also a fuel primer on here. So when that's hot, we pull this lever twice and this gives quite a dose of fuel into the cylinder, and then we rock the engine on the flywheel backwards and forwards until it fires just by hand. There's a mechanical oil pump up here that we can prime all the bearings with before we start. The air cleaner sits on here, and let me just climb up. We can't see it on this particular model, but down in here there's a set of reed valves which help the airflow in the right direction on the two-stroke models. So these tractors, although they are a crude oil engine, they will run on just about any liquid that will burn. As long as you can get it to flow out of the fuel tank and down to the injector pump, this machine will run on it. I'm told that they don't have a lot of power and they run very hot if you run them on petrol, because it's got quite a short burn period compared to the crude oil, which this machine has a very long piston stroke, and the crude oil burns all the way down. I have heard of these also running on fat that was collected out of grease traps from restaurants, and they would start the motor on some other fuel, warm it up, use the heat from the engine to liquefy the fat, and then switch it over and run it on fat. So we're going to light the burner for the hot bulb and start heating that up next. Then we are going to give 60 or 80 turns on this oil primer here. These have a dry sump, so there is a small oil reservoir in here with a belt drive oil pump up here. The oil gets fed through all the bearings from these pipes here, and then gets returned back up to the sump here through this pipe here, and there's a fairly crude strainer in here. And then we'll start it up for you, and I'll talk a bit more about it when it's running. This is what is left of the air cleaner off it. it's fairly badly rusted out, and the filling has all gone out of the middle of it. Now, these used to be filled with coconut fibre, and that was all the air cleaner all the air cleaning capacity that they had. So there would have been a fair bit of dust and grit that went in through these engines. Now, to preheat this one today, I've got a gas lamp on it just because it's easier and simple. But while we're waiting for it to preheat, I thought I would show you the type of lamp that they would have originally used. Now, this particular one is actually for a Lands Bulldog tractor, and they have the same type of hot bulb in ignition engine. So these lamps here were filled, the main tank was filled with kerosene. Now, this lamp is for preheating a tractor to start it, but the lamp itself needs to be preheated too before the kerosene will ignite. So this dish here was filled with methylated spirits, and you would light that and it would preheat all of this area here, so that when you pressurized this tank with this pump here, it pushes the kerosene out up through here, and then it comes out here as a vapor or a gas instead of as a liquid. If it's not hot enough, the kerosene won't burn properly, and you will get a jet of liquid kerosene coming out there that is on fire but not burning properly. And it's a good way to start a fire if you're sitting anywhere around long grass or anything like that. You've got to be pretty careful with these lamps. One of the amazing things about these two-stroke engines is that they will run in either direction. We can change the direction by closing the throttle lever right down to nothing. We then wait for the engine to slow down until it is just about to stop, and then pull the fuel primer lever, and the engine starts running in the opposite direction. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you've learned something from it. Hope to see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.